My friend constantly tells me that my husband is cheating on me, but I know he's not, so I told her she was projecting and blasted her on social media. Now she's losing all our friends. For context, I, 31F, had been with my husband J, 34M, for 10 years. We met through mutual friends, began dating shortly after, and became engaged after being together for about 2 years. We aren't legally married yet, as we both agreed we wanted an all-out wedding and to travel for our honeymoon, but that is expensive AF, and we wanted to prioritize spending our money on things like our house, our vehicles, medical expenses, and so on. We bought each other matching rings that we wear as if we are married, refer to each other as husband and wife, and present ourselves as married socially. We just haven't actually had a wedding. Our families understand this, and since we are both children of divorce, our parents were fine with us not wanting to get married, since their opinion of marriage was somewhat skewed, to put it politely. Most of our friends also don't comment on our lack of being officially married, as they either don't care, agree with our logic that there are more important things to spend money on, or are the sort of people who think the point of a legal marriage isn't as necessary as it has been in the past. Then there's Trisha, 28F. I met Trisha through an old job, and we got along really well. We enjoyed the same music, food, and had similar opinions on things like movies, books, and clothes. Trisha is a lovely person, and I genuinely enjoy her friendship, but she occasionally goes through these odd phases where she analyzes the behavior of the men in our social circle. She will present her theories to us ladies based on things like social media posts, odd behavior she says she noticed during group barbecues or beach trips, and so on. While I have no problem calling out potential crappy behavior in a friend, the things she deems suspicious don't really hold water in my opinion. For example, she's never quite let go of considering one of our male friends to be in the closet, and her evidence is that he's a bit of a perpetual bachelor. According to him, his bachelor status is because he's holding out for a girl who doesn't mind his transient lifestyle as a man who has to travel a lot for work, and would want to join him rather than wait around at home. But according to Trisha, he must be having countless encounters with other males across the country and refuses to tell us, even though many of our friends in our friend group are not straight, and are open about their orientation, and even bring their partners to social events. Then there's my sweet Jay. Jay has never been a very physically affectionate person, and he is likely on the spectrum but isn't interested in having a formal diagnosis. He took the Radzar about 4 years ago when he was seeking treatment for chronic migraines, and the results strongly suggested that he may be on the spectrum. Once he got those results back, he sort of got over the idea of wanting answers for some of his mental health questions, preferring to just go to therapy and work on finding a good treatment for his migraines. According to him, the Radzar was good enough to solve the mystery and provided some closure for him. I didn't press the issue, as the idea of getting on his case about a diagnosis he didn't feel he needed seemed unnecessarily harsh to me. On top of that, Jay loves fishing. When you put these two facts together, hopefully a picture gets painted for you, but I'll clarify anyway. He knows all about the different types of aquatic environments in our area where you can legally fish, when all the different spawning seasons are, what every species eats, how they hunt, and he can even tell what sort of fish is on his hook based on how it feels when he's pulling them in. He can look at a body of water and instantly tell you if fishing will be good that day, and he has never been wrong. It's like living with a fish-based psychic. Since I am an avid lover of seafood, his fishing in pursuit of fish-centric knowledge has only been a boon to me. I can express interest in wanting a fish dinner on Monday morning, and that night, he will bring home and cook up enough fish for us to eat like royalty. He's even excited to catch fish to make into fertilizer for my new rose bushes, since he feels confident he will be able to pull up the perfect food for my new roses. The suspicious activity, according to Trisha, is that he often goes on spur-of-the-moment fishing trips by himself, and can sometimes be gone for hours. He will randomly stand up, say something like, "All right, 'tis fishin' time," and give me a kiss before he hits the road. While I would ordinarily agree that something like that could be suspicious, I know factually that Jay isn't cheating, as he always sends me countless pictures and videos while he's on these trips, as well as calling me on the phone when he's particularly excited about a good catch, how he's trying to get uniquely sneaky fish, a cool bird he saw, things like that. Even if he's gone for 10 hours, my phone will be blowing up for all 10 of those hours with pictures of his sunshine smile next to a fish, or videos of him cheering as he shows me what he's caught on that trip. I adore these pictures, videos, and phone calls since they make my heart so full with how much joy he feels and how at peace he is on the water. I would join him more often, but I usually stay home since it wouldn't be fair to our dogs if both of us left for undefined amounts of time on a whim. Instead, I find my peace in watching through his eyes, and when he comes home, I'm always happy to get the play-by-play of how the trip went while Jay prepares the fish for us to eat. We even have a game now where he quizzes me on what types of fish he caught, and if I win, I get a big hug. None of this is good enough for Trisha. For years now, she has had her suspicions about Jay, but I've always brushed them off as I'm secure in my relationship and trust Jay implicitly. When Trisha first brought her theory to me, I brought it up to Jay, who was genuinely hurt and asked if I shared in her suspicions and wanted him to go fishing less. I told him no, but that I felt he deserved to know what Trisha was telling people about him, He understood and was willing to let sleeping dogs lie. Over the years, as Jay and I kept on keeping on, unmarried and in fishy bliss, Trisha became more and more adamant that not only was Jay cheating, but that the reason we weren't married is that he convinced me to wait for an expensive wedding and he would rather continue cheating during fake fishing trips. Her proof was his random trips, the fact that he doesn't physically touch me a lot when we are in public, and how he never lets me go with him. Countless times, I have shown her the giant folder of fishing pictures and videos on my phone, call logs showing how often we're in communication, and told her that I didn't need to have him grabbing onto me or dangling off of me in public to feel secure with him. I brought up our responsibilities as dog owners to not leave them alone for hours on a whim without the ability to relieve themselves outside. I've even told her multiple times over the years that she's more than welcome to ask Jay if she could tag along on a trip and see for herself how committed he is to fishing, but she always refuses. Again, since Jay has been fine with ignoring the drama, I let it slide, up until about a week ago. Jay was talking about going on a day-long fishing trip with two of our friends, Vince and Maria, who are married, as they had expressed interest in going and saw the trip as a sort of blend between a staycation and a chartered boat trip. Trisha spoke privately with me, saying that I must be happy that Maria is going, since she will be able to ensure that not only Jay can't cheat on me, but also that Vince can't cover for him if he tries to. I'd finally had enough, as now she was dragging poor Vince into this and slandering his character, when all Vince had done is agree to a day trip with an old friend. I told Trisha that she needs to either bring her suspicions directly to Jay and hash it out with him, or let it go, because as far as I'm concerned, she's projecting her issues onto Jay since Trisha can't keep a guy longer than 3 months. While that assessment isn't entirely true, I wanted to hurt her feelings and cut her down to size because that's my sweet Jay she's dragging through the mud. Trisha not only took it personally, but also said that I was just naive and afraid to be single. I told Trisha that she was projecting again since she's a serial dater who scares men off with her wannabe Sherlock Holmes nonsense, and she just can't fathom a man with a real hobby because she only goes after half-baked fake gym bros more interested in their own pecs than what she's got going on and wannabe finance brothers who blow their entire paychecks on crypto. She stopped talking to me after that and hasn't reached out to me since. Granted, I haven't reached out to her either, but I'm mad at her because she was rude. Our friend group doesn't really give this entire situation much weight, saying stuff like, "That's just how she is," or, "What did you expect?" or, "We know Jay isn't cheating, but he's an exception to the rule, and maybe Trisha just doesn't see that." While I was willing to stand my ground at first and not budge on the issue, now I'm wondering if maybe I was too harsh and should apologize for being petty just because I wanted to knock her down a peg and get her to give up on her theories. Update 1. I wanted to give a small update now before I bring the axe down tonight. This will be shorter, as Jay and I will be going fishing together this afternoon after lunch. I showed Jay the original thread, and we had a heart-to-heart that lasted until the wee hours of the morning. Firstly, he wanted me to express his appreciation for all of you, as well as shout out to his fellow fishing enthusiasts. He encourages you all to get out there and try your best, regardless of your success, and to share with him the joy it brings, even if we can't all go fishing together. After going through all of your beautiful words and generous support, we shared our thoughts on the matter not only as a couple, but as two people with different levels of attachment to the individuals in our friend group. We both agree that we had been holding on to these friendships more out of a sense of nostalgia and a desire to be kind, rather than actually examining what these friends brought to the table and whether or not they enriched our lives. We had been distracted by a desire for community and old bonds, sacrificing our comfort and respect not only for ourselves but also for our choice to be together and have a dynamic that some may not view as normal or valid in some capacities. While Jay and I have different views on what certain friends mean to us, we agree that enough is enough, and it's time to not only establish boundaries but also to not give an inch to those who have caused us to come to this, Trisha especially. That said, Jay is a good man, a strong, whip-smart, generous man, and reading the feedback you all provided made me realize something. I am freaking angry. I allowed a venomous waste of air around my sweet Jay. She slandered him, belittled me, devalued what we have, and I allowed it, like some sort of coward. It's going to end now, and I'm ending it my way. I will not be allowing Trisha to slink away from this or have room to twist words to make me look like anything other than a woman with righteous fury regarding the man she vowed to honor and protect. I'm sorry to report I will not be taking the high road, nor will I be handling this with tact and decorum. I'm blowing this biatch's social life sky frickin' high, along with anybody who sides with her. Scorched earth, no prisoners, blood for the blood god. Update 2. I'm going to keep this as brief as possible while still covering it, as there is a lot to cover involving about 15 people, and it's all still hitting the fan. During the fishing trip yesterday, I blocked Trisha on everything and reached out to people to say that Jay and I would be distancing ourselves from Trisha, why we were, and shared what theory Trisha had about them if there was one, along with any screenshots or evidence I had of Trisha talking about them. I also asked a few friends who might know if Trisha might be interested in Jay, as some people pointed out that might have been a motivation for her to get between us. Here's what's been dug up so far. Matt, The friend Trisha alleged was a secret man lover, confirmed, again, that he is completely straight. He shared a story about how he, his roommate, and Trisha had a get-together at one point where they drank and lit up some green. During the night, Trisha got handsy and tried to get together with Matt's roommate, who declined. When they sobered up the following morning, Trisha said that it should be fine because men like that sort of thing. After that, Matt and his roommate weren't comfortable with her and effectively barred her from going to their place. Matt suspects this is the origin of the rainbow rumor, and he's chosen to step away from the social group to reevaluate some things. I didn't want to press him, so I left it there. Vince and Maria have gone dark. Maria believed that Trisha was the victim in all of this, and Vince was vague in his responses and seemed to be taking a more hands-off approach, but they stopped responding when another friend sent a screenshot of Trisha alluding to them being into swinging because they have a decorative pineapple on their kitchen counter. Neither of them has anyone blocked, but no one can get a response out of them either. One friend got into an argument with his girlfriend after said girlfriend went through his phone, because of the drama, and found either texts or pictures, I don't know which, that, according to her, proved that he's been sleeping with Trisha on and off. I heard this from his brother, who reached out after the girlfriend left a voicemail saying she's kicking the friend out, and the brother wanted to know what was going on. I'm not sure exactly what's happening there, as that friend has also gone dark, and none of us know the girlfriend very well or have her phone number. One friend came clean about her struggles with prescription pain meds after her mother lost her battle with cancer, because Trisha had been trying to blackmail her into getting dirt on Matt, Jay, and Vince, and was using the substance abuse as leverage. Admittedly, a lot of my attention got diverted after this came to light, because that's a much bigger problem than my beef with Trisha. We are still working on creating a good way for people to be a support system for her moving forward, and that will be what we as a group will focus on from here on out. An old friend of Jay's dropped a nuke by revealing that Trisha tried blowing him in the bathroom during a Friendsgiving dinner we had last year, only to turn around and try to blow a different guy in the bathroom after Chris turned her down. Jay, some other friends, and I created a new Discord server for all of the friends coming out of this drama against Trisha, and so far, it's just been a lot of comparing dates, texts, and Discord DMs, but it looks like Trisha has been trying to either sleep with or break up every guy in the friend group, as well as either get rid of or get leverage on every girlfriend in the group. Either way, we have bigger fish to fry now. It's time to put this all behind us and help our friend who really needs it. Thank you all for your kind words and helpful advice, even the harsh stuff. My husband stole a family heirloom from me and gave it to his sister. Now he needs to look for a new wife because I refused to stay in his life. When I was 5, my Nana gave me her tea set. It had been given to her by her mother. Since my Nana had no daughters of her own and I was the only girl among her 11 grandchildren, she gave it to me. It's a full-bone china set. I don't know if it has monetary value, but its sentimental value is immeasurable. I have had it, kept it, and used it for nearly 28 years, and I wanted to pass it down to my own daughter or granddaughter one day. My husband knows all this. His sister and her family came to stay with us for a week. Whenever I have little girls over, I pull out my tea set for a tea party. I make tea sandwiches, scones, cakes, and biscuits. My Nana made tea parties a big deal with me, and I carry that on, so my sister-in-law, her daughter, and I had an afternoon tea party. It was a couple of weeks after that I had my friend and her daughters coming to visit, and of course, I planned a tea party. On the morning of, I baked, made sandwiches, and went to pull out my tea set, but it was gone. I keep it in a cabinet in my kitchen. I wash it and put it away every time until the next time. I went a little mad looking for it. The visit came and went. I spent days tearing my house apart looking for it. Every cabinet, drawer, cupboard, the whole house was turned inside out. My husband even helped me. He was insistent that it couldn't have grown feet and walked away on its own. That's what gets to me. He knew damn well where it was, but he pretended that I had misplaced it. He knew how upset I was and tried to comfort me with promises to buy me a new set, as though a new set could replace my Nana's. A few weeks later, he came home with a cheap, thin-looking set that he bought at Walmart or something. I threw it in the bin. Call me ungrateful if you want, I don't care, I was ungrateful. Something you treasure, something of great sentimental value given to you by your long-late Nana cannot be replaced, no matter how much, or little, in this case, the replacement cost. Then I heard my husband on the phone. I heard him say that when we visit, to put it away and tell Melly not to mention it because I'm still upset about it. He didn't say the words tea set, but I knew that's what he was talking about. I walked in while he was still on the phone and called him a thief. He was like a deer in headlights. He quickly hung up and tried to explain, but I wouldn't hear it. I told him to get it back. His sister called me, and I called her a thief. I told her to return it in the same condition she took it, or I would be calling the police, then I hung up on her. My husband tried reasoning with me. He told me his niece loved it so much and that kind of thing really is for little girls. He said he was going to talk to me about leaving it to her anyway, so where is the harm that she has it now? He said I was too old to be playing around with kids' toys and I really should grow up. He said I was immature and it means nothing. What he meant is that it means nothing to him, so I should forget it. The next day, I not only went to the police to report the theft, but I also called my brother who lives in the same city as my husband's sister. My brother went around and got my tea set. My husband was livid and spent a couple of days calling me a lot of derogatory names. His tune changed when he came home to find me packing my stuff. He stole from me, pretended he didn't know anything about it, insulted me, and tried to gaslight me. Now he's saying how sorry he is, and that we can work this out. I don't think we can. I look at him and see someone who steals from me, lies to me, makes me feel small, someone untrustworthy who doesn't care about me. 2 of my brothers will be here tomorrow to help me move. I'm taking everything that means anything to me because I don't think I'll see any of it again if I leave it all with him. We can fight it out in court about the rest. I've been told that I'm overreacting to leave him over a tea set, but it's not just a tea set. It's my Nana's history, it's my history. It's years of happy memories with her, with my mother, and other female relatives, friends. He stole all that from me when he gave it away. Commenter. I think the sister-in-law just told him she wanted it for the niece. She has to know it's valuable, so I bet she kept it in a safe place so the kid wouldn't break it and she could sell it. I believe you are onto something there. When my brother went to get it back, she gave it to him in a box, and all the individual pieces were wrapped in bubble wrap. She had my tea set for a long time. Long enough to give it to her daughter. I wonder if any other things of yours, things you don't use as often, have been given away. Maybe he started small, and you didn't notice. While packing, I have noticed other things missing. Small things in terms of their significance to me. For example, a bracelet my brother and sister-in-law bought me a year or so ago. The last time I wore it was a couple of months ago, but I've not seen it while packing my things. I've started listing down jewelry, clothes, some vinyl records, and other stuff that I can't find but know I definitely own. Update 1. Just a tiny one because it's only been 4 days, but my inbox is collapsing under all the message requests for an update. I have moved out, 2 of my brothers and 2 of my cousins helped me move. I took videos pre, during and post my leaving. There was some unpleasantness prior to their arrival, but their arrival saw its end. They came with a moving truck, and all I had packed was some luggage with my clothes and a few boxes of other stuff, but they filled that truck, and I have the soon-to-be ex on video helping them, laughing with them, but when I gave him my house keys, he was not looking at me with any love or regret. The plan was to move back in with my parents, but all my brothers, my 2 cousins that helped me move, and another cousin had a meeting of the minds on FaceTime the night before coming to help me. My brother who retrieved my tea set opened his big mouth about the tea set situation, and they've become suspicious of just about everything. Due to those suspicions, they decided my plan was rubbish and came up with one of their own. I was moved into the 3rd cousin's home. He has top-notch security, cameras, sensors, monitoring, you name it, he probably has it. My brothers have not let up about their suspicions, but suspicions are all they have, and I'm going to see that it stays that way. I am not going to tell them anything. I love my brothers and I love my cousins. I do not want to spend the rest of my life visiting them in jail. I've taken some of the advice people offered. Saving the videos and going through old footage, making a missing items list and looking for photo evidence of these items. I have already spoken to my uncle's wife, the divorce lawyer. I was going to go with someone else because she's family, but she's bound by lawyer-client privilege. I have not blocked him, so all the voicemail and SMS and Facebook Messenger messages he's sending are getting through and being saved. I'm sure I'm leaving stuff out, but that will have to do for now. I have moved out, I am safe. Thank you everyone, I'll let you know when I have more to tell. My husband fell in love with his gamer girlfriend and wants an open marriage so he can still live with me and the kids but still have his fun with her. I, 33F, have been married to my husband, 34M, for 4 years, and we've been together for 12 years. After a lot of financial struggle, we bought a house, and we are now planning to have kids. The thing is, a few months ago, my husband fell sick and had to stay home for a while. He decided to pick up an online game and started having weekly sessions with a group of players. Among them is a girl, 30ish I think, and long story short, he fell in love with her. He broke down crying a month ago and admitted it. He told me it built up so gradually he didn't understand how he felt until it was too late. They started texting privately after meeting, and eventually had one-on-one calls together. Then at some point, he said she told him she was in love with him, and he realized it was mutual. He said he told her it was impossible but loved her too. They tried to be just friends, but they couldn't resist and continued to show affection for each other and slowly ventured into dirty texting. She asked if she could meet him face to face, but he refused. So, he told me all of this, apologized over and over again, and told me he couldn't control himself. While he loved us both, he assured me that he would choose me no matter what. I was still very upset and slept at a friend's that night to gather my thoughts. I decided to forgive him because he clearly felt guilt and wanted to work it out. I told him that while I was deeply hurt, I still appreciated him coming forward to me and being honest about what happened. We got into long conversations about how we were feeling in our relationship. I accepted that he could love someone else but said I didn't like how he handled it, and he agreed. Then yesterday, he asked if I was comfortable opening up the marriage to polyamory. He said he still wanted to live with me and have kids but couldn't erase nor ignore the feelings he has for her. He says he wants to do it right and let us both see other people, with clear boundaries and communication, and still be present for one another. I'm gonna be honest, it made me very uncomfortable at first. We have several friends who are poly, and I know more or less how it works, but I never really thought about getting into it myself. I am not against it, it just never crossed my mind before. I'm trying to think it through, but it's a lot to take in. Sorry, my writing is probably messy, but it's kind of hard to focus. I guess it's too early to decide, and we have a lot more to discuss beforehand, but still, could you guys give me your opinions on this? Thanks a lot. Update 1. Hey guys, sorry I didn't reply to all your comments. I'm very thankful for them, they helped me realize hard, but fair, truths about the whole situation. I waited for a bit to think about it all and had multiple long discussions with my husband. I wanted to confront him before making a final decision. To answer some of your questions, the other girl wanted to meet him, but they never did. Partly because my husband refused, but honestly, mostly because she lives too far from here. I still got checked for STDs, though, and I'm clean. As for our polyamory friends, they apparently were the ones who suggested him to go down the polyamory road. I stopped talking to them for now, I'll deal with the bigger problem first. I told him his actions hurt me deeply and that while I appreciated him admitting his affair, it was still infidelity. I told him what you guys said, that turning it into polyamory was merely greenlighting the affair after the fact, that polyamory should be built on mutual trust and communication, which he already broke, and that I didn't feel respected. It destroyed him. He said he already knew, deep down, but didn't want to admit it, neither to me nor to himself. We both screamed and cried a lot. He finally admitted he wanted to open the marriage for selfish reasons. He is very sorry. He cut off contact with the other girl, let me fully access his computer and phone, and now wants to go to counseling to repair our relationship and marriage. He is showing me a lot of affection and attention since then, although he admits himself it's sometimes out of guilt and not just out of pure love. And now I want to make it work too, but do I really? Maybe it's the sunk cost fallacy, I don't know. Our first session is in 2 months, the earliest we could get, and every day I change my mind. Literally yesterday I wanted to leave him, while today I think it's worth giving it a try. Because we've known each other for so long, we understand each other on a very deep level, share a lot of interests, and have already built so much together. He was there for me during hard parts of my life, and he took responsibility for his actions and is really trying. Plus, if I leave him, I'd have to start my life nearly from scratch, find a new place to live, and go back into dating for the first time in 12 years. I don't want to lose everything, it sounds very hard and scary. Am I not too old for this? But at the same time, that's a form of denial, isn't it? It doesn't matter if those years were good, it's not going to be the same. Even if he gains my trust back, even if I forgive him, I'll never forget. I think he is genuinely remorseful, but isn't it too late for that? I'm too empathetic, him being present now doesn't erase what was done. Do I want to stay not because I still believe in this relationship, but because I don't have the strength to ask for a divorce? Because it's the easy choice, some kind of codependency? I have no idea. I can picture both paths clearly, and it's tearing me apart. I am lost, maybe even more than I was when I wrote my previous post. I've lost sleep and appetite, and I'm not sure I enjoy anything in my life anymore. I booked an appointment with a psychologist, for me alone, to help with this whole thing. I am sorry, at this point, I am rambling. I know I am the only one who can decide what's okay and comfortable for me or not. It's ultimately my choice and my choice only. The emotional hell I am going through just makes thinking about that choice very hard and paralyzing. I'll go to both therapies and try to see what to do from here. I'll try to update, but it's probably going to take a while. I want to thank you again for your support, and I am sending you guys a lot of love. Edit. A couple of pieces of information I should have mentioned but didn't because putting all of that into writing without omitting something is much harder than I thought. He cut off contact with her because once he told her he was married and wanted us both, she just ran away and broke up with him. There are times since then where my husband starts feeling sad or angry because of what's basically withdrawal. And for that, he's smart, at least sensible enough not to blame me. What kind of marriage did we have before this crisis? It will sound so naive, it's my first and only romantic relationship, we were very close and basically grew as adults together. We could talk about anything and understand each other, and we shared the same values and interests. What changed, I think, is that we got into a routine, and he got bored. During our argument, he said he was addicted to the attention the girl was giving him and that he felt I didn't show him I was in love with him enough anymore. I told him that even if it was true, he should have told me instead of having an affair. On one hand, I have my faults too, and I could accept this as one of them. On the other, I was taking care of him and the house while he was sick. I don't think he believes it, I don't think he means it, but it makes me wonder whether I was actually a good wife for him, even though I am not responsible for his actions. Thanks again for your support, everyone. It's a lot to process, but it helps me so much. My husband wants to completely ignore his child from another relationship, and I love that for him, but my mother-in-law is trying to force us to bond with her. My husband, 42M, and I, 36F, have a very solid relationship. We have been together for about 13 years and have no children, but we are very active in my nephew's, 4M, life. For some background, my husband has a child, 16F, Laura, with whom only my mother-in-law and, to some degree, father-in-law have a relationship within his nuclear family. The reason being, she was conceived when her mom poked small holes in the condoms. It was a whole drama, and my mother-in-law begged my husband to have a relationship with Laura, but he simply couldn't. He even had to get psychiatric help in order to cope with it. The mom admitted she did it so he would stay with her due to responsibility, but it did not work. He pays child support because the law mandates it, but nothing more. I didn't hear about this news from my husband but from my mother-in-law, and she emphasized that she liked me a lot and hoped I would be a good enough person to foster a relationship between my husband and Laura. I was flabbergasted and asked my now husband about it because my mother-in-law made it seem so different than the truth. He explained he was going to tell me before we moved in together, and to be fair, he kind of had already given me little bits of information here and there. He explained the whole situation and even told me I could go to therapy with him and see the psychiatric information if I wanted, but things were not as my mother-in-law said. His sister confirmed this as well and explained that this issue was the reason she was not as close to her parents anymore. Things went okayish for some time, and even the wedding went without issues. We all have several boundaries, and my mother-in-law more or less respects them, although she still has constant communication with Laura and her mom. We have had several cycles of very low contact with her. But things went into overdrive once my sister-in-law got pregnant with Mark. My mother-in-law started telling everybody it was not her first grandchild and all that cryptic stuff. My husband was so uncomfortable about it. She pushed for Laura to be involved in birthday parties, christenings, etc., but we all said no. She also invited both of them to her birthday party a couple of times, and we simply did not attend. Now, the new issue is that Laura has been so sad for not having her bio dad in her life, and my mother-in-law pressed my husband to do right by her. My husband said no and left immediately. I stayed while grabbing our stuff since I had brought food and told her it was not going to happen. According to my mother-in-law, Laura just wants to know my husband since he is her real dad, and despite being okay with her stepdad, it's not the same. She said she will give her our address and contact info because she is desperate for a connection. I told her I would call the police on all of them, and I said my sister-in-law will be very upset with her when she hears of this and to not be surprised to get less access to Mark. My mother-in-law called my husband cruel and me a bad person for encouraging his cruelty towards an innocent child. I told her I understand Laura is innocent, but she most likely would not be asking the same if it was a woman who conceived in the same circumstances. Am I wrong here? Edit. I thank you all for your opinions, even if you say we are monsters or cruel. I'm trying to keep up, but I think I need to clarify some things. I asked here not because I want to betray my husband, but because I stand by him no matter what. The condom did not break, and he was very into safe smashing. She assured him she was on the pill, but he wanted to be safer by using condoms. Yes, she admitted to poking holes when he asked her if she would consider fetus deletus and if not, if they could co-parent because he really didn't want a relationship anymore. She admitted to it, and my mother-in-law knows all of this. She is not in jail because my mother-in-law begged my husband not to report it, and he just wanted it all over. My father-in-law is like Switzerland now. At the beginning, he was up in arms until my sister-in-law asked him if he would feel the same if it happened to her. My mother-in-law is on thin ice with my sister-in-law since she introduced Mark to Laura on the zoo outing without consulting my sister-in-law first. My mother-in-law is not allowed alone time with Mark anymore. He has to pay child support until Laura is 18 or done with education in the country we live in. He already made sure to make a will leaving her the minimum allowed by law, since you can't disinherit children in the country, but you can leave them the least amount. My mother-in-law is very distraught at this since he had me and Mark as the main beneficiaries. My husband does not want to meet Laura, give her a letter, etc. I'm not going to make him do that. I do believe my mother-in-law is pushing harder since Mark was born because my husband is amazing with him. We even took him on a trip recently, and we are very loving towards him. We also spend a bunch on him because we want to. We own our place, but it's all in my name for obvious reasons. I don't know if Laura knows, but I would never tell her because it is not my place, and despite everything, I think it is horrible to learn and worse from someone you don't even know. Update 1. I want to thank everybody who took the time to reply, even if it was against us. You gave us the push we needed to clear the situation. I am sorry this is long. I showed my husband the post, and after spending a long time reading the comments, he decided enough was enough. Yesterday morning, he texted my sister-in-law and mother-in-law, telling them he would like to meet and have this over with. My mother-in-law said we could do it in the afternoon and that Laura was coming too. We all said okay. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law met us at the door because they didn't want to go in before us. It was really tense from the beginning. Laura tried to hug everybody, but we asked her not to. Then she tried to hug my husband, and he was slightly less polite and asked her to not touch him. My mother-in-law was very cheerful somehow, and my father-in-law was just offering everybody drinks and snacks. He was like living in his own reality. We sat down, and after what felt like the longest 5 silent minutes of my life, my husband turned to Laura and asked her if she could please leave him alone. Laura responded that he was her dad, and she would need his support when she goes to uni since she was planning to move to our city, and it was very expensive and hard to find a place. She said she knew he owned his own place and that he clearly had money to spare, so she was wondering if he would help her out. My husband said no, that he was already paying child support and would stop as soon as the law allows him to. She was upset but somehow kept going. She turned to me and said that at the end of the day, what is my husband's will go to her, since my mother-in-law explained the inheritance laws to her, and she wanted to be on good terms with me for when we need to decide what to do with the house, etc. I just told her not to worry because the house is in my name only, and there is already a will covering it all. My mother-in-law knew about the will but not the house situation. Laura was a bit taken aback and looked at my mother-in-law as if asking for help. She said that even if there's no future money, she thought my husband was unfair to her, that she used to think he simply didn't want to be a dad, but he is amazing with Mark, and we even take him on trips. My sister-in-law asked her point blank if she knew how she was conceived, and she does. Laura knows everything and says that while it was not the nicest way, her mom wanted her so badly that made it happen. She said my sister-in-law should understand because she is her cousin, and she would love a relationship with him. My sister-in-law was seething, and my brother-in-law told Laura he will literally call the cops if she tries to get near Mark. She started crying, saying that she wanted her family to love her and be as awesome as everybody is with Mark, and that it is not her fault. Her mom is not a bad person, she just wanted a family, and my husband denied them that. My husband said that it was the lying and the deception that cost the relationship, not him. If there was an honest mistake, things would have been different. He told her he will never be her dad and she needs therapy. He said that she could get a job instead of expecting him to pay for her life in the long term, and that he is not willing to have contact after today. My mother-in-law started begging both her kids not to go and maybe do family therapy. They both said they are going no contact with her, and my father-in-law is on thin ice. My mother-in-law is blocked everywhere. I guess this is it, no contact with my mother-in-law from all of us. My sister-in-law and husband seem actually pretty happy with the decision. We had dinner together, and the topic was dropped after a couple of minutes, and we focused on other stuff. I'm sorry there is no Disney ending, but this is for the best, and I still support my husband's mental health above all. Edit. I think I would like to play a little devil's advocate regarding the money. When Mark was born, we started being very active in his life. We have yearly passes to the zoo, get him nice things, pick him up from daycare twice a week, took him to Disneyland Paris, etc. I believe my mother-in-law was showing her pictures, and that is why it came out like this, or at least it is my assumption of it. Her mom is not poor by any means, but she does have 2 other kids. Our city is very popular for student life, which makes it that much more expensive. My husband and I are not interested in having children of our own, we simply are ambivalent about the issue. I know it might have made my mother-in-law even more eager to have a relationship with Laura. We were giving her pocket money for some time, but we have decided to stop that as well and let her figure things out with her pension alone. I don't think we will have anything else to update in this case other than if Laura or my mother-in-law come around Mark, but I highly doubt this will happen. As much as we don't want a relationship with any of them, these are a teenager and a pensioner, not criminal masterminds.